Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you all here. So we have an exciting event happening today. Many of you here have probably had, great ideas, maybe worked on impressive solutions. I've been at a few hackathons and I've seen a lot of impressive prototype solutions. But, one of the big questions people ask is, how do I turn this into a business? How do I start a company? Who do I talk to? How do I get funding? You know, is this even worth starting a company? Where do I register a company? So today we have a very special guest. Her name is Ingrid Riley. When it comes to anything startup in the Caribbean, she's a go-to person. So we're very honored to actually have her here today. And you guys have the opportunity today to essentially ask her all the questions that you have. These opportunities don't come around often. So I would urge you guys, use this opportunity to ask any question you may have, whether it's something specific to maybe a venture you're starting, or just generally on, starting a company in the Caribbean. As we know, there are a lot of challenges that come with that. I'm sure you guys want to know how to
And
navigate those
then
challenges, and I'm sure
she'll
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 just
be
give
able to answer those questions.
a brief intro to herself, and then you guys, the floor is all yours, guys.
Yeah,
Ask all the questions you want.
yeah,
So let me start with the intro. So Ingrid, she's the founder of Silicon Caribe.
yeah.
She's a digital media entrepreneur, Caribbean tech maven, syndicated tech blogger, podcaster, event producer, and speaker. She's behind Silicon Caribe, blazing and disruptive brand that kickstarted the tech startup scene in Jamaica. That's been influencing the growth of the Caribbean tech startup ecosystem and digital Caribbean. For her work, she has received many awards, including the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica 50 Under 50 Business Leader plus TechLink Game Changer Caribbean Awards. Dubbed the Caribbean Tech Queen by Caribbean Media back in 2012 for her pioneering work in the Caribbean tech industry and tech startup ecosystem, Ingrid is a big believer in digital Caribbean and its limitless possibilities for the region and has been featured in a Silicon Valley TEDx talk. As an events producer, Ingrid has produced and co-produced over 300 Caribbean technology-focused events across 10 Caribbean countries and the diaspora USA and the UK for entrepreneurs and professionals. As a tech startup ecosystem pioneer and builder, she has been credited with and won multiple awards for kickstarting the tech startup scene and community in Jamaica and doing pioneering work in the Caribbean startup and tech ecosystem for over 10 years. She has worked with many startup community groups, has advised government ministers, and consulted on projects by international development agencies and non-profits. So without further ado, I hand over to Ingrid Riley. Please help me
Thank
welcome
you.
Ingrid, guys. Thank
Thank you. Thank you. That introduction, every time I hear people introducing me, I was like, hey, it's been a long time, right? It's been a long, long time. 19 years, right? But yeah, who's counting? First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. Really, really appreciate it. Um, I embarrassed myself when we're sharing a panel at BizTech conference 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I need your number. I need your number. And when I look at my phone, I realized I already had your number. And I and I'd already known about this association, but I had not kept abreast of things. But thank you for having me. I'm always here to answer questions. Um, like he said, I'm one of the big believers in all things Caribbean, and my mission with Silicon Caribe has always been about how do we help our people, or the global Caribbean, people in the region, people in the diaspora, to understand what the opportunities are, the business opportunities that exist right now in the digital age, and also help them to take full advantage of that. And that's through or event platforms or community or whole networks of investors and women, and of course the talent wherever we find them and wherever we gather them. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I see you had sent a couple ahead. Um, and so regarding AI, I don't know where you all are on the whole AI. Which side you're on. Do you believe that it's going to take everything from us, or do you believe that it's a fantastic opportunity for us? As a leader of this tribe, what do you think? Where do you land?
Well, I'm on the positive side. I think there's
Okay.
definitely, cause for concern if implemented improperly, but
Hmm.
I think if done the right way, it could be a great opportunity for especially us as a region to balance the scales
Hmm.
globally. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. As we talk about AI and people having ideas and people maybe wanting to leverage AI or just operating in this AI age right now. I wrote a piece around a week or two ago for SiliconCaribe.com. And what I did was to show basically how AI can actually be a fantastic advantage to us here in the Caribbean. And I did something really simple. I happened upon this IG channel called Explaining the Caribbean, and it gave beautiful snippets of data around the top, revenue generating carbon companies and which industries they're in, who owns them, and that kind of a thing. I was like, this is great. Whoever did that, I was like, big up yourself. So I grabbed it and I dropped it in both Claude as well as ChatGPT. And I asked a key question. I was like, giving this information, what would it take? How can we use AI, other technologies, and just simply Caribbean cultural nuances to disrupt this whole scenario here with these companies and to help create what I consider to be a modern Caribbean economy? And it gave me some really beautiful answers. It literally gave a blueprint in terms of, okay, these are the top five industries. It was fintech, telecoms, food and manufacturing, the whole nine yards. And then gave examples in terms of how they can be, what their advantages are. Their advantages were geography. Their advantages were, okay, well, we're splintered across the Caribbean. It's not easy to get certain things done. So they have built-in moats because that they may operate in only in Jamaica, or they may operate only in Barbados or in Trinidad. So that's their in sort of a built-in moat right now that has allowed them to kind of grow without much competition per se. So it listed all their advantages. Been around for like 50 years and all that. But it also gave a list of their Achilles heels, what their weaknesses, and what is potentially what the gaps are and what should be built and how much money could be made in building for those gaps. And that's a very simple way of leveraging data that already exists and so simply being very asking powerful questions, the right questions that help you to interrogate and see where the potential business opportunities are. And so for each of those, I think it's 8 industries. Each of those industries, we um, I could easily put down 2 or 3 startups that I know are doing things across what I call the global Caribbean, which is where it's basically who is in the region and who is in the diaspora. But I didn't do it because I wanted to, one, not put targets on their backs right now, but also I just kind of wanted maybe to stimulate other conversations and help people to see that there are other things that ways in which they can make money using AI in different ways. So I just kind of wanted to set it as a very simple way in which one can use AI to spot business opportunities and see if you are capable or interested in building within those gaps. And so I just kind of wanted to put that out there. That's a very simple way without us having to think we have to be overly technical around that as well. So I just kind of want to put that out there. So you can go to siliconcreep.com and see what I wrote there, and you can, have it, twirl in your head a bit and see what you may come up with as well. But I want to know In your association, what are people using AI to do? What are they solving for? What problems are they gunning for? What have they been building so far? Anybody can talk. I mean, before I even get into answering questions like how do I raise funding, I just want to know what you're thinking about, what problems you're going to solve, what things you have already been tinkering with.
All right, this is your opportunity, guys. Say
Talk
Robino.
to me. This is not a lecture. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Robino, you're up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having this session. I think it's really appreciated. I really appreciate it. So currently I use AI basically on a daily basis. I
Mm-hmm.
use both ChatGPT and Claude.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily use it in my personal life,
Right.
simple queries. I
Right.
use it to manage my finances, use it to develop exercise plans for myself. And in a professional, and I guess, work context,
Mm-hmm.
I am a data scientist, so I use it heavily to
Mm-hmm.
explore data, um, and basically write code and develop models and answer questions about data, which it has been very helpful for. I think when
Right.
I first started working, I had some concerns about my employment and whether I would still be viable going into the future. But I think what
Yeah.
happens is that as we work with AI and continue to push it to its limits, we see the gaps and
Yeah.
are able to say, okay, yeah, there's still opportunity for us to execute there.
Yep. Yep.
Outside of my profession, I've been using it to build web dashboards, exploring web development, because I'm not a traditional software engineer, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning JavaScript through AI.
Okay.
So,
What
through
platforms are you using? Only ChatGPT or are you using like Claude Cowork or something?
no, I'm using Cloud Code, Codex,
Okay. Okay.
CLI, Cursor. I mean, if it's a coding agent, I've probably used it already.
Okay.
Deploying to Vercel and
Yep.
hosting database on Neon. Using MPC servers to interact with the data.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely that's been helpful. My apologies for not being on camera. I'm actually in transit right now. So,
That's all right.
but yeah, that's how I've been using AI.
Okay. Good, good, good. So you haven't gone on yet to maybe try and start like to kickstart a startup or anything like that yet.
I have,
Okay.
but I don't think it's like a startup. It's probably like a small thing,
Mm-hmm.
that I think some people might be interested. I think maybe the sample audience might be 100 people that can find the tool useful.
Okay.
So I don't really think it's at a startup scale. I have some ideas around what a startup business could be,
Okay.
um, but I'm continuing to explore, building the application I have currently and launching that and like kind of learning through that process
Mm-hmm.
because I think that would be the fourth thing I built, and I think as I continue to build more things,
Mm-hmm.
I'll continue to increase my skill set around that and kind of clarify um, what my execution can be within a business context.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. That's fantastic. It's great because let me tell you, I did a talk a number of months ago online to a bunch of Trinidadian business leaders, and I had asked them to tell me, how they've been using, what they've been using, and like less than half the room wasn't even trying to use a tool, explore or to see how it can enhance what they do inside their business or anything like that. Nobody. And so it's kind of cool when I hear like months later, people are saying, nah, I'm in there testing, tinkering, and trying, and seeing what can come up because that's what we have to do. I just believe that if there's a technology that is out there, then we should use it and see if it's of any value to us on a personal level, because you mentioned that is helping you to manage your finances. May never reach the part there yet, but but you're learning and you're trying to figure some things out, and that's basically what we're supposed to do. Anybody in here who has been like they're itching because they have an idea that they believe could be a potential business, and they want to share what that is because they found a problem and they've been testing to see how this may be of value using AI. Anybody wants to raise their hand and share with that? See somebody called Horatio? Raise his hand. Yeah.
Yeah, Horatio, you can go ahead. Unmute. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey,
we're hearing you now.
Hello, are you hearing me?
yeah, man.
Yes, I have a startup. I'm actually on my phone. I was just jumping on. I have a startup
Mm-hmm.
where I have a grant right now
Mm-hmm.
in the US, Atlanta, where we're looking to help SMEs look at their governance program, looking at the risk and compliance. Actually, I built a tool to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's sophisticated enough where I realize that I can't build it out anymore because
Mm-hmm.
building it out, I don't know if you have ever heard others speak about hardened governance, intelligent risk and compliance.
Yes, it's kind of what kind of unsexy, but where the unsexy things are, that's where a lot of money tends to be. But yes, go ahead.
My system actually can reach that state.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So what it's gonna do now is, and Matthew knows about this, is we are gonna be helping SMEs get off the ground. I've extended it to Jamaica. So
Mm-hmm.
we are currently making a call. We have the 10 cohort, at least 10 cohort right now to start the program. But if we have anyone online who wants to get involved, they can just
Mm-hmm.
send me a contact and I can,
Mm-hmm.
at least a matter of fact, I'm trying to log on now to send the introduction within the
Mm-hmm.
group. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
my
Definitely share.
my startup, because I'm definitely looking to take it to places, Jamaica, Canada, and the USA.
Okay.
And when we do the assessment, we're looking at different stages of assessment. One, if you have the policies in place. Most will not. So I can actually build a tool that can help you write your policies too.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then moving from, if you have something in place, and I've added adversarial testing to it
Mm-hmm.
at a certain level, because to build a hardened system, you definitely need to implement a major system. But
Right.
I have a prototype system that can do that sort of work. And
Okay.
the next phase of it after this is we gather the evidence and
Mm-hmm.
we take that to VC for funding now to build out the full tool.
Okay. Interesting. That so you said you're going straight to VC funding. What makes you think one that it is VC fundable? Or why do you think that you even need funding?
Well, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let me get upstairs. Thank you. Well, I'm at Oxford, and it started out from me being in class,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's built at a frontier model level
Mm-hmm.
where that
Mm-hmm.
is where the industry is. Actually, to tell you the truth, I've had several white guys attack me. I've had several people. um, I,
Why?
Somebody from Canada, because I tried to get the Canada group, write me to say their company is not coming in to getting involved in the program, but they send me their audit report privately saying that I should assess it and send it back to them. I was like, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
not ethical and that's not legal.
Mm-hmm.
And one of their friends write me to say I must tell them how I save my files within the system. So I have Oxford on board with me. I've
Mm-hmm.
written a paper about it with Oxford also.
Mm-hmm.
But their research tends to take a long time to get out, several months.
Yeah.
And I think with the with a good preview of this NSS funding, which is a government funded, um, I think they may be interested in it. For one, it has to do with interoperability and crosswalk with the different laws across the world. Even in the US, the different laws across state. And at some point, I know that it will come into place. Even with the EU AI Act, you might not
Mm-hmm.
be in the EU, but once you have anything to do with the EU,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be falling under that. It's a blow that to me that they extended it to next year, but I definitely think it's coming, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's coming. So I think having an intelligent governance system that cross plays between different areas, and areas can go to different products also, that they may be interested in it. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
testing the idea.
Okay. Okay. So in a very short sentence or two, what problem are you solving?
I'm solving for. Oh, sorry, sorry about my
No
daughter.
problem. No problem.
We're solving risk and compliance,
Mm-hmm.
the risk and compliance issues, for risk and compliance issues that are posed, especially
Mm.
with cybersecurity exposure, and also government fines and all of that. So we help organizations address their compliance issue and mitigate their risk and improve their products for internationals, better international sales and acceptance.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. Well, I guess the whole point is I mean, I know one of the first questions that you had sent to me was like, how do I raise funding for my AI startup? And I always say that you always have to ask why is it that you think you need funding? Because of what we've found, I mean, I've listened to thousands and thousands of pitches and engaged with a bunch of thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs. And I always ask this question, why do you think you need funding? Because some people say that they have a great idea, they may have built something, maybe like a minimum viable product of something. And they say, okay, I just need an investor now. And I said, well, why do you think you need an investor? Has anybody even, do you have even one client that has paid you money for that particular product or service? And they'll say, no. I said, have you tried? And sometimes half the time they're like, no. I said, okay, well, here's the thing. Funding doesn't start with investors, it starts with proof. They want to know, do you have people using it? Is somebody paying you for it? And is the problem that you're seeking to solve painful enough that would move people to, yeah, I'm gonna pay you for that, pay you this amount of money to solve for that. So it's, getting funding, has been made very sexy over the last number of years because a lot of announcements about this funding, but a reality check I always tell people, especially VC funding, actually only operators tend to go to, well, traditionally over the history of VC funding, only goes to like to the 0.001% of companies around the world. The rest are usually bootstrapped, um, funded by consumers who pay, or they may be like angel funding, right? And so that's something I've been trying to basically inculcate through our events that funding is usually not your first bet. Your first bet should be to actually get a paying customer. Now, without question, there are always some startups that require funding at a certain level. And there's some startups that will get maybe some initial early stage funding just based on the idea because it's unique or because they have like a waiting list of people like 10,000 people or 1,000 people who say, yeah, I want this. And they just need some amount of money to grease the machine so it kind of moves things forward so they can actually have people paying them. So, but Jamaica, Caribbean, we have double or triple things against us. Some people consider us a small market. Some people have very racist and other kind of ists perceptions of Caribbean people and their ability to do things. And but it's really about I think we tend to like try and focus startups to say, hey, try and get one person to pay you. If you have that kind of a business, try and get one person to pay you that proves that this is painful and somebody's willing to pay you for it to solve them. So um, these days, especially as funding generally, whether it is angel funding, VC funding, it's getting scarcer and scarcer. People are really more buying into traction and transactions and not just, oh, I have a great idea. So that's something that you have to throw into the ether when you're thinking about your business, or you're thinking about, okay, well, I have a startup and let me see if I can test things. So just kind of want to put that out there. So let me know, Horatio, how you when you've because you're finished with the tool, you've done your minimal viable product now, and you've had a price, you've put a price to it.
Yeah, well, what we're doing is
Mm-hmm.
we're testing it through the National Scientific Foundation
Right.
initiative for the
Okay.
viability of
Okay.
it. And then we are going to use that as the
That's
evidence going forward
okay.
to see what we can do. Because I've done all my testing, and my testing has now showed me that I
You
do
have
need to
some.
build a proper system now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. 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 Is there anybody else who may have on something that they're working on, or they want to share around that, or they're maybe thinking of using AI to jump in and close a gap somewhere? I see.
So in good evening. So in my case, the first thing that came to mind when I was building my startup, when I was about to just get things started, was
Mhm.
do I get a whole heap of money and just like accelerate building it out,
Mm-hmm.
or do I just build like something really small,
Mm-hmm.
go out there, like get some feedback, and then
Mm-hmm.
move on from there. I chose the
Okay.
latter. I chose the latter.
Mm-hmm.
So after building the MVP,
Mm-hmm.
a really basic MVP with like one screen, and
Mm-hmm.
we basically had everything else in the background manually working.
Mm-hmm.
And after building that and getting some traction,
Mm-hmm.
what I find is that based on the nature of the business,
Mm-hmm.
we need to really grow fast and build what
Mm-hmm.
I call inventory. It's not products, but what I call inventory. We need
Mm-hmm.
funding to like really build that out. I'll tell you what it is. So my company is
Mm-hmm.
Cleared. It's a verification platform. We do background checks, screening. But
Mm-hmm.
what's unique to it is that if an individual gets cleared on the platform with all their verifications, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
employee background checks, etc., they only
Mm-hmm.
need to do it once. So if today they do it with Scotia,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow they need to get a job. They don't need to redo the verifications because they would have gotten them into a digital wallet and then
Mm-hmm.
share that. Literally walk up to a business, show a QR code, they get access to their verifications, stuff like that. So for like employment screening, for employee
Mm-hmm.
screening, if that person has verifications already, then
Mm-hmm.
what you find is that the company that needs to screen them, they don't need to go through a long process of verifying them again.
Finding.
They're
Okay.
already verified, which means
Okay.
that if the platform has every Jamaican in it, that's
Mm-hmm.
good for us because it will just speed up those interactions. So
Okay.
I need to do is like fund marketing and
Mm-hmm.
adoption a lot because that gives the platform a lot more value.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could just do it slowly and
Mm-hmm.
over time just build it. I think I just need to like fund it and just get fast growth there because
Mm-hmm.
I already got the proof from the entities. I got a government institution on it. So
Okay.
that's proof that it really enhances their process, digitizing their processes. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that is where I see the funding coming in now. Just not to build a platform or anything, but to like
Mm-hmm.
really grow fast. But I think
Okay.
it may be a unique case.
Okay, so basically you have a verification platform
Yeah,
that helps government as well as businesses with like maybe like screening for employees, screening for loans, loan applicants, and that kind of a thing. So it's
yeah,
basically a B2B platform.
it is. But based on the fact that it's a wallet, a consumer
Okay.
a consumer can feel free to go on the platform and get their verifications in
Mm-hmm.
advance so that when they present to the business,
Mm-hmm.
they already have done all the due diligence that's required for them.
Okay. And so it's basically linked to um the the legal framework that we have in Jamaica, or is it just basically focused on Jamaica, or are you gone Caribbean already?
Well, no, so I'm focused on Jamaica,
Okay.
and what it means is that it's if I get interest in another Caribbean country now,
Mm-hmm.
I I can easily start there, but I'm not marketing to there yet because I was still doing
Mm-hmm.
something locally.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
trying to so you have a paying client. Okay, so you have a government entity or a ministry or something like that using the platform that paid you
Yeah.
for it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Did that through like the public procurement. Yes. We did
Yeah,
a
an RFP.
yeah. So I
Okay.
want to pay for that, and then yeah. So that's and a few others, but the real value in it is when a company can come and say, okay, I need to screen these three. We've got a
Mm-hmm.
BPO as well. So let me use a BPO for example.
Mm-hmm.
So although we do the screening for them,
Mm-hmm.
really nice is if they come and say, here are the 40 people we need to screen for this week. They
Right.
are being cleared. They would just get real-time results.
Mm.
So
Okay.
my dream is to get every Jamaican on the platform.
Okay. So you're trying to beat government with the needs.
No, needs is different. Needs is different because needs is an identification program.
I
We're very
know.
service. So yeah,
Okay.
we're verifying the
Okay.
IDs. Needs would be one of them. One of the IDs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So you're trying to decide whether or not you just simply want to get more clients and use the revenue to grow the business versus, say, maybe getting a loan or an angel investor or whatever kind of funding to go to the next level to drive it.
Yeah, and I'm more I'm thinking more about the latter. Get
Okay.
pumping the funds in it and
Okay.
growing
More.
fast because it's kind of like a chicken egg situation.
Mm,
I go to another company, they may say, well, if you don't already have these people in the platform, then what's the value? And
okay.
the people, the public may say, well, okay, if you don't have the companies, then what's the point of getting verified?
Mm,
So
okay.
it's kind of
Cool.
like a double play that we have to do.
Okay.
Very
Cool. Well, this is a good just to go back to the questions that you had sent to me. What are investors looking for? Yeah, they're looking for a real problem. And the problem that this one is solving is that people need to be get background checks and be certified as okay to enter into a company or to maybe enter doing business with government. So it's a
yeah,
real problem.
and real value.
Um, yeah, and people are trying, they'll of course bet investors trying to figure out, are you the right founder
Mhm.
to actually get this thing done well? Like what's your background, Desmond? Why you chose to go in this business? You're a popo?
If I'm a what?
If you're a police, you're a popo?
No, but I used to work in, I'm an engineer, but I used to work in compliance at one of the
Okay.
banks. So
Okay.
yeah, so I was very close
Okay.
to it. And
Close to the
I've formed
solution.
strategic alliances with entities in the
Mm-hmm.
security space locally and
Mm-hmm.
internationally. So that's how I get
Okay.
it.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
steep. You have domain expertise in terms of the industry. That is something that they look for. Are you the right founder? Do you have
yeah,
domain expertise in the industry that you're seeking to solve this problem and to launch a startup? That's what they're looking for.
yeah,
You said you're only focused on Jamaica right now, but investors are always looking for big markets because for them, they're not gonna hang around and wait, because typically they're waiting between 7 to 10 years for you to become profitable and to
yeah,
return some money to them, right? That's the classic model. Some investors would rather take a slice of your business and say, hey, for every but whatever, they'll take a slice of your revenue over a particular period of time until they get that 3 to 5 or 7 times the money that they've invested in your business. And some of them classically would want to wait until 7 or 10 years when you sell to somebody or when you go IPO on something for them to get back their money. So they try to look for ways in which they can get back their money. And
mm,
if it's a big enough market, but right now you only focus on Jamaica. Investors always look to see if there is proof that it works. So you clearly have proof because you have paying customers, you have paying government clients, you have paying business clients, and so
Ex-
clearly it's working for them. And so, I always say that the tech side is always very interesting, but revenue is always more convincing. If you're making money, then everybody ears perk up, right? And it's like, okay, so there's a market, there's somebody to pay for your goods because they find that it is actually really solving a problem. So yeah, thank you for that.
mhm.
Thank you for that, Desmond. Yeah, man.
All
Anybody
right.
else? Anybody else want to share what they're working on or what they're
Sure.
thinking about?
Thank you and good night, everybody. So for me, my startup, well, I wouldn't even call it a startup as yet. It's in its
Yeah.
the early stages, baby stages. But
Mm-hmm.
thinking about there's a project that I worked on
Mm-hmm.
for hospital optimization. What that was, I use time series analysis. I use Python libraries like Pulp, Profit. Basically, what I did, I got a data set of Jamaica open data, which utilizes basically how many patients use a certain amount of beds. And then I said, hey, let's make a forecast or a prediction model that, like for example, we have flu season, how many beds would be needed per hospital. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, why not develop that into a type of software that hospital administrators could use or the Ministry of Health could
Mm-hmm.
use? So I'm working on it now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still in school, so as I said, very baby stage. I was just working on that personal project, and I just said, hey, why not try to develop this into a software where we could just provide that to the hospitals. I don't think I've spoken to persons who are nurses and work in the hospitals. They don't have a software like that, so I
Mm-hmm.
think it could be um breaking ground when it comes to just providing the government with a software tool like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if it's going to be utilized as often as maybe other softwares. But I was just thinking, and I'm wondering if that idea would, if a startup based around that, or
Mm-hmm.
um if I get the drift.
Yeah. So here's a bit. So you're a developer.
Yeah. So my major is data science, so I'm not really I wouldn't call
Mm.
myself yeah. So
Okay.
I'm trying the React and the CSS, HTML, JavaScript. So I'm trying I haven't been taught those, but I'm doing that on my
Mm-hmm.
own because I know that's, building applications is something that will never go out of fashion. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just thinking, why not do something like that?
What tools are you using?
So for this project, yeah, just CSS, HTML. I have another project
So
that I use React.
no AI tools right now.
Not right, no. Yeah, but I'm
Okay.
wondering how as well, what AI tools could I use?
Claude.
Claude.
Claude. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
One a story. There's a story that I'll share before I get to commenting. So there's a startup who was in our Kingston beta community that got into Techstars and got his funding and been working on his stuff. And he pretty much let go some of his developers and use Claude Cowork to generally vibe code. I mean, he's a developer himself, so he knows what to do. So he basically used Claude, and there are others who use Claude to rebuild their apps. And so they've been definitely using that a lot because of how great it is. So yeah, you should explore Claude versus trying to beat your head against the wall with using CSS and
Okay.
HTML,
No
right?
problem.
That's the first thing.
Mhm.
Um, you gave a classic example in terms of what I'm hoping a lot more people do in the region, which is to, even though generally across the region we tend to be allergic to data, meaning it tends to be siloed, sometimes it tends to be dirty, sometimes it's not they're just simply not leveraging the data to make decisions and to also to take action. That's why I seem to be allergic. But that to me is the gold in terms of how the Caribbean can really use AI to leapfrog and do some amazing things and spot gaps and build things and make money. You said that you took one data set and try
Right.
to build something that will
Yeah.
help a particular situation and make
Hmm.
something more efficient or make somebody's life easier in that particular industry. And that's really what we need to hear a lot more of. Whether you are a data scientist or you're an entrepreneur, you're just interested because maybe you spot a gap or you spot a problem or you have experienced something personally, is really kind of using these tools to experiment and see how can I solve this problem by leveraging these tools and asking powerful questions but the data sets, yeah, is a matter of how we tease them out. Um, as I said, you use what the open data portal that we
Yeah,
have.
and even with
Yeah,
that, the data was limited because I think the
yeah,
latest year we got was 2023, kind of
yeah,
outdated. So
yeah,
yeah, it's difficult and sourcing data otherwise. I don't know
yeah.
who's going to provide me with a data set like that.
Nobody.
Yeah, so
Nobody. But no, I'm
yeah.
just being cheeky. But I mean, that's the whole point as well. And I think that's something else that we can probably think about in terms of leveraging AI tools to help us to collect um, updated data and then use some of the data. But even just using the data sets as that we have, you have basically created a wonderful classic case of how we can basically use data sets and AI to see if we can solve some of the issues. But I'm also glad to hear that you went and spoke to people. You got out to the building as well. We
Yeah.
say in
Oh
tech.
yeah.
And you spoke to people like, is this something that you'd even want or use? Because it makes no sense with spending time, even though you may see it as a problem and you've created a solution. Some of the people are like, yeah, no, we're good. We don't want, we don't want to use that. We're not going to use it. No, we're okay with the pen and paper because that's what we'll deal with. So, but not just saying, continue to explore um, and to you're a scientist and you're supposed to be part of the movement that screams to Jamaica and the region our need for updated data, collecting it and also interrogating the data that we have to see how we can actually make money, make things easier for people across different industries. So I would say continue to do that. But look into Claude here. Don't keep beating up yourself with the HTML and the
Okay, I
CSS.
will. I will.
And
Thank
if
you.
you want, I can link you. I can link it to in fact, just link him himself. Kari Sharp. He's the
Okay.
CEO of head office. Just link him on LinkedIn and
Hmm.
ask him two questions.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
cool. Anybody? One, Dave, yeah? Long time. We need to talk. Oh, yeah, call down. But
Hey,
anyway,
hey, Ingrid. All right. We need to talk, definitely.
we're definitely going to talk, man. We're definitely going to talk. Um, I see some other people holding up them hand. Hi, Ingrid. Oh, hey, Nadine, what's going on? Nadine Mattis Blair. Yeah, she's on this call as well, and she gave a talk at an event that we were both at 2 days ago called The Art of Events. And she basically used the events industry and showed how AI can save time and money. Made me feel good because as an event producer, I was like, well, I'm going with things. I know how to use some stuff, even though you got me with the Manos. I was like, Manos, like who? I heard about it, but haven't tried it yet. But she great in terms of out there doing a lot of AI workshops for business leaders. So thank you for saying hi and coming to join this motley crew here of Jamaica AI Association. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share something?
I
Thank
would love
you.
to.
Thank you. Who is that? Who's that deep
This is Mika.
voice?
This is
Oh,
Mika
hi.
speaking.
Hi, Mackay. Go ahead. What's going on?
I'm good. So I wouldn't say it's a startup, or it basically is, but it's my first side hustle. So it's not a original idea, but I was on TikTok just
Mhm,
searching what could I do, and I saw AI receptionist, and I was like,
mhm,
okay, this looks like something I could implement in Jamaica. Because really and truly, we haven't even started to touch it here. So over the past like 3 months, I
mhm,
built it out using Excel, Init,
mhm,
and Claude. So it's
Mm,
fully functional. But the problem that I'm having now is actually securing a client because I've spent days cold calling and sending out emails and I've got back positive replies, but then
mhm.
those positive replies, it's gone cold.
Hasn't gone converted. What
Right.
exactly? So tell me exactly what's the problem that you solved
Okay.
and
So
what you built?
we have a customer
Hmm.
care issue in Jamaica.
Oh
So
God,
the
yeah.
person's tones, attitudes, and how slow it could be. So I
Hmm.
built a booking reservation tool.
Hmm.
So persons could call 24/7 and they could basically set their appointment for a restaurant,
Hmm.
a dentistry, doctor, anywhere. And then
Hmm.
that just fills in or integrates into the app that they're already using. So whether
Hmm.
it's Next Health or there's a next one, sorry, I forgot the name of that one, or
Hmm.
whatever app the restaurant uses, and then it just fills that in for them, and then it's done
Hmm.
quickly. It sets the time, the date, whenever you can call to reschedule,
Hmm.
to cancel it.
Hmm.
So that's the solution or the issue that is solving.
Okay. So have you maybe one of the issues why maybe it's some of maybe your people have shown enthusiasm but hasn't converted to connecting is
Right.
because have you gone out to the building and see who else is in that space in Jamaica? Because you specifically you're trying to solve a problem for the restaurant industry, right? Because you
Right,
mentioned
right.
restaurant.
So I'm focusing on restaurants now because
Mm-hmm.
for dentistries or doctors, they
Mm-hmm.
use Nextel, and the API for Nextel, I would have to get a contract with them, where
Mm-hmm.
then I would have to get funding for myself or save up
Mm-hmm.
to do the contract, get the contract, and then be able to have the API.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking that they have this problem. Have they told you that they have this problem?
They definitely have this problem because I spoke to
What specifically is the problem that they're having friction in terms of people booking to go to the dentist or booking
book.
for
All
to
right.
get a
So
relationship?
on the restaurant aspect, in terms
Mm-hmm.
of restaurants are normally low on employees during certain times, or
Mm-hmm.
certain persons have to be doing twice as amount as they're normally hired for. So you would have a receptionist acting as a server during the
Mm-hmm.
days. So this allows them to basically free up their hands. So I spoke to our owner the other day, and especially during peak hours, you ever
Mm-hmm.
call a restaurant and you have to call them like 3 times
Mm-hmm.
before you get through to them. So that cuts the costs and that
Mm-hmm.
saves the revenue because that single call,
Mm-hmm.
some persons might not call back the restaurant, they would call the next restaurant, and then
Mm-hmm.
you lose out on a client.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but here,
So,
well, but if I'm just to talk, I saw somebody said a great put actually a really great target audience for you versus a restaurant. Because even though you may probably think that there's a problem there, what is the general culture of restaurant booking in Jamaica? People,
most,
I've never booked a restaurant in my life. That's just me. I just pull up, right? Even though some
okay,
places like Mystic Thai and others want you to actually book. My point
right,
is that you're trying to solve the problem of them maybe missing out on revenue because
right,
somebody chose not to book because they haven't had a free flow in knowing, okay, well, I can go to Uncorked at 8:45 and I can get a table for 4. Is that what you're saying?
right,
Okay. Okay. All right. So maybe the restaurants is maybe not your thing, not the industry that would probably
okay,
move toward that.
right.
Somebody put in the chat, well, focus on lash
Cosmetology,
checks. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And go. But my whole point is that um you're trying something and you're looking out and seeing what is possibly problems that need to be solved and trying and building things, right? And that's the whole
right,
point because you may not necessarily get it on your first try. 9 out of 10 times you're not going to because you may probably keep having to maybe go to different different kinds of restaurants and a different industry, because maybe the health and beauty industry, which is a huge industry globally, is probably your better bet because they have issues. Because I mean, the women in this chat will probably say, yeah, we're tired of going someplace and we have a appointment for 3 o'clock, but I'm saying, hold on, man, hold on, we're not done with her nails yet, right?
Yes, that's
And
true
so
because
to manage
I
their
went
to manage their things, yeah.
I went to my local station this since day, and
Hmm.
when I went in and I was at the counter, I realized she was writing everything in by hand. So it's
Hmm.
like, you guys not going digital? And she says they're looking forward to it. So then I sent out my proposal.
Hmm.
And she said, okay, I like the idea, and I'll let you speak to the manager or whenever.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on a call back from that.
Don't wait for the callback. Callback. If you don't hear from them in 48 hours, call them
True.
back.
That is so true.
Right. But yeah, but I'm just basically saying keep going because that's basically what you do. Your eyes and your ears should be open to seeing what potentially could problems. You should be really looking for problems that you can probably
Right.
solve in different ways and you can probably make money from. So I'll just say continue to do what you're doing in terms of just keeping your eyes peeled and your ears open and see and go down that rabbit hole. If you speak to that person, speak to other hair, nails and lash people and listen to see what problems they're having. It may not necessarily be the problem that you think they have, but by
Right.
listening, you can probably develop solution about what really is the problem that they have that they're prepared to pay money for to
Okay.
solve. But yeah, but keep that's the whole point of keeping your eyes peeled for opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Right.
Hi, Robina speaking again. I had a
Yes.
question.
Yeah, man.
Not specifically about something I'm building currently, but I wanted
Mhm.
to um well, first a statement. I think your point around seeking investment bit too early, I think is a very valid point because I think that can
Yeah.
pose a challenge and we may
Yeah.
have an incorrect framing because we see
Yeah.
the Silicon Valley as
Correct.
where they're taking 100 bets and really counting on one to succeed. So there
Correct.
may be a sense of there really is they're overfunding to find a unicorn. So we
Um,
may have an incorrect frame now around developing startups. Um,
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Without me having, it's absolutely because American investment culture is way more developed than us here in the region for a number of reasons, right? So things like 400 years of slavery, and all these systemic things that has concentrated wealth in primarily white male hands, and investors tend to invest in people and things that they know. That's one thing. Second thing is that in that very mature investor culture, it's just maths for them. Really. It really is that I am going to invest in 20 companies only knowing that basically only two of them is going to actually return the money that they've invested in the 20. So they don't get all crazy. They're literally just simply what is called spray and pray. That's primarily their investor strategy because what we'll just call it maths. So it sounds sexier. And that's pretty much the scenario. In the Caribbean, where our investor culture is quite one, risk averse, two, not as strategic sometimes because you meet with some investors, whether they're angels, well, primarily angels, they don't want to hear that you're potentially going to lose their money. Some of them may not necessarily have a strategic approach in terms of, you know what, I'm going to invest in 20 companies and wait 7 to 10 years or whatever it is to get that money back from the two that's going to bust and like crazy. So we have to be very mindful of not comparing ourselves in the region to other investor cultures that are and in other ecosystems that are definitely more mature than ours. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because I think there are different ways in which startups and businesses can get investments. Give another example. The former CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Marlene Street, she had asked her, they had commissioned this survey that was basically showing that years ago, you always hear about the 14 families or the 21 families. They basically had a chokehold of Jamaica's GDP. They controlled over 70% of Jamaica's GDP for a very long time. There's one policy decision that changed the face of business and changed how entrepreneurs access capital on all levels, small and medium-sized business, which is simply this. They simply made loans cheaper and faster and easier to get, right? And that alone, with a couple of other things, of course, but that was one of the major things that allowed 70% of Jamaica's GDP to become concentrated and controlled by a few families to now it has dropped down to a little bit over 30%. And it's going further down because, again, the influx of diaspora capital, the influx of high net worth individuals in Jamaica as well, and from the Caribbean, pouring into different markets, doing different kinds of deals that are not necessarily classically venture capital, or maybe not even classically angel. There are different ways that they're pooling funds to moving into different kinds of businesses. So we're to basically what I'm saying is to look at our own unique cultural nuances and our unique cultural ways of growing a business, innovating, funding a business, and not shy away from that, and not think that we need to mirror Silicon Valley or Silicon Alley in New York as well. So yeah, thank you for bringing that point up because yeah, sometimes
Yes,
we
yes,
read
definitely.
we read too many blogs and we think say, yo, we're running upon that, I have a wicked idea. And that's okay. If you have the enthusiasm and the thing to go and build things, then yeah, go without question and go and look for where you can get help in
Hmm.
figuring things out. It may be connecting you to a paying customer, a paying client. Um, Maybe sitting with somebody who is a seasoned investor in terms of an angel investor or high net worth individual, angel investor who say, you know what, yeah, I have 100 grand that I'm going to invest in a couple of businesses and let's talk kind of a thing. So, but
Yep.
yes, that was basically it. So thank you for bringing
And
that
I
up.
think, yes, and thank you for speaking to it in such a fulsome way. I think also, I mean, anybody who's played poker, if you have a really big hand, you play the game much
Yeah,
differently.
absolutely.
Um, I think my question was, what
Yeah.
is your advice on developing moats? I think maybe not
Mm,
as specific because I think based on the audience here, it probably would be moats around technology solution.
mm-hmm.
But there may be some analog businesses that we're probably not considering. But what would your advice on to us, to how to develop moats and how to think about
You
having a
okay.
protection strategy?
Protection strategy. So, you want to tell people who may not know what a moat is and share them what that means.
Yes. So a
Mm-hmm.
moat is basically what your core strategic advantage is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could probably use, let's say you're a company trying to develop AI for lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
and your moat could be that you have, you know, an army of 100 lawyers that exclusively support your AI development, and they've
Mm-hmm.
signed exclusive contracts to you. A moat, another moat might be you might be the only company, which I think probably is not a good moat if you look at it this way, but you might be the only
Mm-hmm.
company that has been authorized by the government to operate
Mm-hmm.
within a certain sector. I think
Yeah.
that's a negative moat because you'd want to have a bit more open market. But a
Mm-hmm.
moat basically is a core strategic advantage that your competitor is not able to copy.
Yes. You mean like JPS? But anyway,
Yes,
but
that's a negative moat, but yes.
that's a negative mode. But then, but then around that now is the fact that we have a lot of sun and should actually be using a lot more solar. But anyway, that's leave JPS out of this. But yeah, but so what was your question around it? I mean, how do we go about developing more moats?
Yes, I would want to get your opinion on how should we go about it? I mean, I think I work in analytics. I
Mm-hmm,
think um I think my moat is speed and quality and expertise, but that
mm-hmm,
might I think that might execution might seem like too small a moat to me.
mm-hmm,
Maybe I'm in too saturated a market where I'm just gonna have to be faster and be better, and I'm not able to build a moat, but I'm sure
mm-hmm,
others may have opportunities to build moats, or maybe I'm not
Mhm.
seeing an opportunity, but I just wanted to get
Mhm.
to succinctly express my question. What's your advice on developing moats for a startup?
It's interesting. Somebody just put in the chat, our moat might be that we are Jamaicans in Jamaica who understand Jamaicans, so that makes us better understand cultural data and even wider the Caribbean and Latin America. Fantastic, absolutely. Which is why I have been such a advocate in terms of it's fine that we think about when we want to, build big businesses. These we're always talking about unicorns and stuff like that. And yes, it's a great ambition to have. Um, but I think that the more we get to understand and have confidence in terms of who we are as Caribbean people, Jamaican people, and realize that how we see certain things, how we do things is really a unique selling point, a unique advantage, and now how do we leverage that? It's like I was reading this article on Substack by this Jamaican guy. He's a tour manager and an artist manager called Abishai. And so he was talking about why is it that globally reggae music and reggae culture is consumed and in massive demand always globally, and so it's been growing because of technology platforms. But we can't seem to scale in a way where it brings us back directly the economic benefit of that demand and consumption and love of culture. We found a unique selling point, but we haven't created a moat in terms of leveraging, putting in place systems that allow that consumption of our culture and to come back to us in terms of real money. And so, to me, I think that's somewhat of a moat. But how do we defend it? By building systems and understanding how to leverage all the technologies, the streaming platforms, and all the things that we need to do and to make it happen where we actually benefit from it economically. So, I mean, you're right. A mode can be any and everything. It can be our Jamaicanness. It can be how we actually innovate. It could be our speed, or it could very well we not our speed. Not everything that is fast means that it really is good. Sometimes you need to just chill. Um, Burn some weed, sit down on a beach and just relax. And because that's something that is unique to us, because ideas come to you. And I'm not even being facetious about it. But anyway, so I think everybody will develop their moats differently just based on what industry you're in, how you go about doing things. Because I think moats can be, I guess, internal or unique to us as a people. It could be in terms of the product that you are developing. It could be the industry that you're in. It could be a policy, as you said. So I think there are different kinds of moats that can be developed. I don't think we are limited. That's just my opinion, anyway.
Moat? Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the most effective ones I've seen is
Mm-hmm.
stickiness.
What's that?
Stickiness, like you lock them
Stickiness.
in. Yes,
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Stickiness. Okay. Your ability to keep people, say, on a platform, or pretty much like how like Facebook has basically leveraged their technologies to keep us on our phones for way too long than we really need to be. Them kind of
Yeah,
way they talking about? Yeah, okay.
yeah,
All right,
Well,
cool.
yeah, yes.
well,
Yeah.
I'll
Because
just comment on that.
sure.
I think stickiness, I think it can be really easily flipped in a negative boat, because I think the technology
Mm-hmm.
companies we've seen use build stickiness in a negative way. I think
Mm-hmm.
we
Yep.
have an opportunity as
Yeah.
newer companies to build stickiness through excellence and execution, so that our
Yeah.
customers have a positive
Yep.
psychological feedback with our companies. So if
Yeah.
they're interacting with a, first world, I don't necessarily want to use their terminology, but a larger economy's technology company, their stickiness
Mm-hmm.
express itself negatively. I think a
Mm-hmm.
moat for us could be positive stickiness. So I do
Yeah.
agree that stickiness is a moat, but that's how I'd want to frame it for
Okay.
companies we develop.
Okay. 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 Cool. Sounds good. Like the
So I
discussion.
wanted to get your thoughts on how to acquire
enterprise level customers. So, for example, banks and lending institutions, because it seems to be very much different from just getting like customers from like, regular businesses. I'll give you I'll give you a background on the product that I'm working on. So I work at the bank right now. I'm a data scientist and I work in credit risk modeling. So we develop machine learning models to predict the likelihood of someone defaulting on a loan. Let's say you come and you apply for an unsecured loan. Well, the bank looks at certain data points to see what's your likelihood of going bad or not paying back the loan, let's say in 90 days. And that process is very tedious, it's very technical, it's a lot of work, and you typically need data scientists and your data engineers to develop an end-to-end solution. So I've been working it for about 4 years now, and I said, okay, I'm going to build a solution that removes all that technical knowledge. So right now I have a solution that a person who would have no idea how to code or write a single line of code can develop a credit risk model by just dragging and dropping. So it's a no-code solution. And I met with one of the biggest credit bureaus in Jamaica. What they do, they develop the credit risk model. So most of the banks and lending institutions outsource to them to develop it because they don't have the capabilities or the in-house teams to do this, right? So with this solution, they can get a non-technical person to clean the data. They have the AI that suggests how to clean the data, and it's built on an agentic framework as well. So you can integrate internally because a lot of these banks, you can't share the data with cloud or any outsource AI. So you have local machine. You can connect local AI running on those servers within the platform. So I have one of these credit bureaus. They're actually using the platform. I gave them access. They're using it for free because I want to see their feedback, what they think about it. So I give them like a 90-day access to use the platform and test it internally. But my question is, how do I go about acquiring, for example, let's say Scotiabank or NCB to say, hey, this is a platform that you can use to develop your in-house models or scorecards for your customers?
Nadine, you want to answer that? Nadine, you want to unmute yourself, and since you have a history with a particular bank here, you want to answer that? Because that could be very, very very sticky. Hold on, links. Somebody just put
yeah. Links is definitely one of them. Links is one of them for sure.
Here's what I'm going to officially say. When it does high level, let me just put this way: fintech is a very interesting. Financial technology sector is very interesting in the Caribbean because there are just levels to it. Just based on my own observation of things, there are just levels to it. And so there is the political aspect of it, which is all the banks connecting to each other here in Jamaica, in the region, of course, and to internationally, and all the things that come with that, the risks and stuff that comes with that. Locally, is just very interesting. I'm going to leave it this way by being very diplomatic. In getting any kind of business, but especially business to business, business customers, the lead time is usually pretty it's a little bit longer. Okay. Nadine chimes in. Regulators require transparency and explainability. What's it? Nadine, just come on the mic. No, man. Let go the mic, man.
I'm picking up my daughter, so I can't come on video. So
no problem.
Local regulators, with some pressure from global regulators, require transparency and explainability of the model. So the bank must be able to explain why you approved or declined a particular person. And so that's where, some of the long processes come in, and the big, bureaucracy around just utilizing any solution. The other thing with enterprises, and I know that a lot of startups want enterprise business, and so this is not specific to banks.
Right.
Enterprises have different standards, and when they're buying solutions, separate from the procurement of it. If you are Grace Kennedy or NCB or Sandals, you're serving thousands of people. And so when they're purchasing solutions, they're looking at something that is going to be available 100% of the time, where if something happens, there's indemnity, I can sue the company, there's a backup. And the majority of small companies are just not able to provide that. But that's what their governance, that's what their business continuity plans call for, because it cannot be lights out for an organization like the financial institutions here that have over 600,000 customers. That kind of resiliency a startup is just not going to have day one. By the way, it's also not great for your own cash flow cycle, because large institutions like to pay in 60 days and so forth, and you can't have your cash tied up like that. I would encourage persons to build something, start to bring revenue in, as Ingrid said, with whoever you can find, right? Small businesses, medium businesses, continue to build the solution, build the resiliency of the solution, get your testimonials in, get your cred up, and then approach the enterprises.
I could not have had a more perfect answer. And the reason why she's so masterful with that answer, because Nadine Matthews Blair is a former vice president of digital transformation and enterprise analytics and marketing at NCB, right? She's left to go off into be an entrepreneur. No. So that's why I could not have given you that answer at all. So I hope that has definitely helped you, Samario.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you so much for coming on, Nadine. I really appreciate that. Anybody else have anything to share, or they want to talk about what they're doing in terms of their startups, or ideas that data sets that they're interrogating with startups, or ideas that they're thinking on jumping on using some AI platforms? Please do put your hands up. We'd love to share and hear what's going on.
Good morning. I'm going on afternoon. My bad. Good night.
Yeah, man. It's night now. It's night 7:20.
Yes, still a bit sleepy. So my name is Giovanni Stone,
Yes.
as I can say. So I started working on a project of mine as a developer. I struggle with this very key problem, which is it's called marketing. I do not like marketing. I hate marketing, but
Wow.
there's one thing. There's one thing.
You're strong with it.
Yeah, but there's one thing that I can agree with, is that marketing is very, very important in any startup area or getting your business across to people. And since I'm not really a marketing person, I'm a more technical guy who's a developer who's more focused on developing, I decided to allow AI to help me. But the key problem that I ran into was that I have to open up multiple tabs. So I have to check on Instagram, check on TikTok, what's trending, what's not trending, how to convert, how to write scripts, how to not write scripts for these different videos or pictures. So what I created was an application called BrandForge. So what BrandForge is something to make my life easier when it comes to marketing. So what I did was I created an engine that's what I call it. I call it the trend engine. So what the trend engine does is that it pulls data from TikTok, Instagram, and then it vets the numbers, with the likes, the views, the amount of comments, see what's trending, compiles it, files it, assigns it based on whatever industry it is. And then I would just use that data to remix the video. And then that video will just give me what I need to create my own viral video.
Has it worked?
has it worked? Some of these
Yes.
videos have gone to kind of match these numbers. I believe that the only problem is the time of upload and the area in which I'm uploading it from.
Okay.
Maybe that's my only limitation in regards to producing the same amount of virality in these videos. I've tried asking other software not software other media people who do media for other people if they would be interested in using testing these tools. I haven't been successful. A lot of people say that they like the idea, it's interesting. And I just wanted, since I heard you say something about you being an event promoter, a planner yourself. So I was wondering if it's something that even you would use, or
I'll
how would that
definitely
go
test it
about?
for you for sure. It
Or go
sounds
about?
it sounds interesting to me. I'll definitely test it. Have you when you call it Brand Forge, have you basically in terms of its description, have you found other like platforms in the market?
Yes, there are a lot, but a lot of them are not in the Caribbean market. They are mostly in American and European markets.
Okay, so why think they're not in the Caribbean and Jamaican markets?
Mostly because maybe a lot of people don't. Let me see. It's
Or you're
it's
saying that you
expensive. It's expensive. It's
okay.
expensive to have such a software, to create such a software, and I don't think my software is on the level of the Americans or the
Mm-hmm.
Europeans. But to have that amount of AI and data and
Mm-hmm.
analysis to keep running, it's expensive as a developer.
Ah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's like it's very expensive as a developer because I will be spending $20 to even gather the data from APIs, and it's not even a lot of data to say that, oh, this is confirmed.
Mm.
I tried to refine my search as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not as I can't say it's 100% reliable. I can't say it's
Okay.
100% reliable.
Well,
So
so what do you want? So definitely, I'd love to test it out for sure. And I know I could definitely have a couple of people test it out and give you some feedback as well. But again, I like the idea that you're building something for yourself. You hate marketing. My God, that was a very
no,
strong
it's not really
statement.
a strong hate for it. It's just I don't really
Why?
have the need for it.
What
I
is
don't
it?
have the
What
time.
is the number reason why I hate it? Is it because it takes so long? Is it because you
So
what is it really the pain that really makes you say hate versus like I really don't really like marketing? Well, what is the hate? What is the core hateration that you have towards this thing? What
I
is it?
don't I wouldn't say hate, but I don't have a strong affinity for it. I can
Why?
I why? Because I'm not really good at graphics. I'm kind of
Mm,
colorblind. I'm not really good at
okay.
graphics. I always struggle with designing myself. So
Okay.
sometimes I get my friends to design for me.
Okay.
Um, I'm good at writing stories and scripts, but
Mm-hmm.
in terms of embracing social media and showing my face out there as much, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a social person, but for some reason, cameras and
Okay.
posting a video of myself kind of cringe me a little bit.
Listen, well, I mean,
And I'm trying,
you should have leaning to your strength. Your strength is that you
yeah.
say you love to write. You're really good at writing stories and stuff like that. But I mean, again, Giovanni, I mean, this is great because again, you're creating something to solve your own pain point that may be useful to other people you don't know. I mean, I'm happy to definitely test it out and pass it to a couple of people so they can test it out as well. But you just never know. You should keep going. I mean, I'll just arrange for a couple of people to test it out for you. I'm sure there are people inside this chat right now who would love to. If you want to drop a link, or you'd rather not drop a
Oh,
link right now.
I think my database timed out and I have to restart
Okay,
it before I
no
can
problem.
post a link.
Shoot me a link. Ingrid at siliconcaribe.com. Just shoot me a link, and I'll happy to test it for you, and then maybe give you some feedback. And you say you're a developer. Who also is good with writing stories and scripts. That's a very good combination, actually. I know who I can link you with just to go ahead and test some things
I'm
out
sorry,
as
could you
well.
repeat the link to?
Email Ingrid,
Yeah. Okay.
Ingrid at siliconcaribe.com.
Okay.
Just shoot me an email.
All right, thank you.
But again, I just want to keep encouraging people to just do that and everything. So yeah.
All right, no problem.
Oh, so somebody said in the chat I may be able to refer you to something regarding the API calls you're paying a lot for. Let's talk. Beautiful.
No problem.
That's what community is for. Yes.
Probably
Oh,
have time for one more question.
yeah. I just want to refer to the questions that you sent to me. And one I want to really kind of zone in on, which is how do I navigate the Caribbean ecosystem? And I was having a talk with somebody yesterday from a particular company. And so when you have hackathons, when you have different things happening all over the place, people get involved and then they stop. There's nothing for them to move on to. And it's something that's the main reason why I started Kingston Beta 19 years ago, because I had my digital agency, we're putting around with some things. I wanted to know who else was doing what. Right? That's why you have Jamaica AI Association. That's why there's entities like PSOJ. But I want people to get out from behind their computers and go to events, go to dinners, join communities, whether they're online or in person, go. Because at the end of the day, you're asking about how do you get into certain get certain clients, get into certain organizations. It's relationships. Business is driven by relationships. And if people don't know you, get to trust you, get to like you, know what you do, how you do, then they're more once they get to know all of that, then they're more likely to give you information, introduce you to somebody, um, get some business. But you should always seek to plant some seeds first. Don't go just with your hands out and say, hey, you're taking this. Give me that, give me this, ask that, whatever it is. Be interested in what other people are doing. Um, Listen, ask, be curious about what people are working on, what they're doing, what problems they're having, what their ambition is to get done in this world, and see how you can help them first before you ask them for favors. Um, you want to take the building of relationships more like you're trying to date for a relationship and marriage versus simply a one night stand. You really kind of want to you say, oh, you're waiting for a call. You call somebody and you're waiting for them to call you back. Hell no, give them 48 hours and call them back. The follow-up, the magic is in the follow-up. So build those real relationships by going out. Come to our events, come to our Kingston Beta events, keep coming to the AI Association. Peek your eyes on Instagram, on LinkedIn, join communities, see what people are saying and doing. It is important that you put yourself out there in front of people and let people know what you're interested in, what you want to get involved in, how you can help them, who you can connect them to. Plant some seeds first before you seek to eat the fruit. I always tell people and it may get you into rooms that you never thought that you'd get into. Um, just by being of help to others. And I know it has definitely helped me amazing. I've traveled to many, 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 many countries around this world simply because of the work that I've been doing and because of planting seeds. So get involved in the ecosystem. Don't just stay outside and point. Become a part of what is going on. And it's important, I can't stress enough that we share our stories. Just like everybody came on here and said, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm thinking. I'm trying this. I'm having this problem. We need to have more people share their stories with others. Share it with people who blog. Share it with people who are on TikTok. Tell the stories about what you're working on, what you have done. Um, Something has been successful, something has been failed, and you have learned about it. Share your stories because the more of us do that, is the more people get to realize, oh my God, all these developers, entrepreneurs, creatives, consultants, whatever it is, they're working on some really cool shit, leveraging technology. This is what's happening in Jamaica. This is what's happening in the Caribbean. This is what's happening in the diaspora. And we need that narrative. Obviously, that Jamaica is just not necessarily, yeah, we're the Sprint factory. We have great beaches. We have Bob Marley. We have Bolt. We have, well, no, not the football people, hush. But we have Shelley and Fraser Price, but we want those stories or narrative to be broader than simply tourism. We're multidimensional people, but yeah.
So Ingrid,
Yeah, man.
I could definitely add to that because I started looking at AI in about 2021. It was like GPT-2 at the time, very repetitive and not necessarily useful. And I got kind of obsessed, maybe too obsessed, lost a lot of sleep, but it
Yeah.
made me really good at just using the systems. And I had 86 followers on Twitter at the time. It was Twitter, it was an exit, I think. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting over 1,000 followers just showing up.
Yeah.
And people were willing to just do things for me. So there's a
Absolutely.
particular person in the space. He had two multi-million-dollar exits, and he
Wow.
bought me two 3090s. So that's like what? Probably like 2.4K. Some random person on the internet that saw that I was interested and passionate about AI was like, hey, let me help you out. So you really are correct about just showing up, because I was saying that to people. If you look at the biggest indie developers on the internet, like Peter Levels, etc.,
Yeah.
that they show up every single day in some way.
Yeah.
And now because they have distribution, they can show up in any way that they want to.
Yeah.
So I agree that, hey, showing up matters. And earlier I wanted to say to you as well that I agree with the coding. I don't think the coding is as important anymore unless it's very, very niche or novel. So I'd focus on the problem I'm trying to solve and the distribution of my solution versus trying to figure out how HTML, CSS works anymore. Foundationally, yes. But to actually sit down and code, I mean, you have Cloud Code, Codex, GLM, so many models that you can use. But even so, my biggest concern is always the democratization of intelligence. Because if they want to show geopolitics on us and block us from using the AI, they can. So even us contributing to open source wins us favor as well. And I think maybe us even considering a foundational model for the Caribbean, for Jamaica, would be very, very important, just as how France has Mistral.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Definitely keep showing up for sure. It's what has served a lot of entrepreneurs in our Kingston Beta community, and in everything that we've touched as well. Just simply showing up. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know what you're going to hear. You're just going to keep showing up because it definitely, the proximity to fresh ideas and people trying things and hearing their stories, it can only make you better. It really can only make you better if you're in fact if that's what in fact you want to get, you want to do, So yeah, that's it. Before we're wrapping up now, can I do a little plug?
Yeah, sure.
So so Silicon Caribe, we do Kingston Beta. And we're going to get back to doing our happy hours in May. And we had tried a co-working pop-up, and we'll probably get back to that because people have been screaming at me. But consistently, what we've been doing is just like 6 events a year that has panel pitches and a lot of networking at the end. People just hanging out. So that's coming back in May. But the next event that we're doing, it has like an entire Kingston Beta Day, which is Beyond the Beach. Beyond the Beach is a Caribbean investment, impact investment summit. It's our 4th year, and we do it with our one of our partners, entrepreneurs across the borders out of New York. And so it's going to be April 23rd to 25th. If you actually go to Beyond the Beach, conf.com, you'll see the lineup there. We have 2 more panels that we're wrapping up by next week, but everything else is there. And so on Kingston Beta Day, which is the 24th of April, the Friday, we have some amazing panels, some amazing speakers. Well, of course, we'll have our Kingston Beta startup pitch stage. So if you're interested in pitching your startup and you have your MVP and your deck ready, shoot it to Ingrid at siliconcaribe.com. And then we'll have a lots of networking. Of course, the last day, which is the 25th, I'm sure a lot of you will be interested in a particular panel around digital payments made in the Caribbean. And so again, there'll be another pitch stage, but more around social impact. challenges as well. So I'd love for you to consider coming to Beyond the Beach, April 23rd to 25th. And of course, please send us your interesting stories. News at siliconcaribe.com. We want to tell each other and the world how Caribbean people are thinking and what they're solving for, and what they're building, and stuff like that. So, hello, Ingrid. Hoping that we can share contacts if possible. I was a person who last spoke. Yeah, man, Ingrid. Let me just put it. Can I just put it right here? Or would it be private? Or just
You can type it in the chat.
okay, I'll just type it
Or
in the chat.
yeah.
Definitely my email, and I'm on everywhere, except for Twitter. Like, no. Kingston Beta is on X though. But me, I'm on LinkedIn, and my email works beautiful, and I always respond within 24 hours. So happy to connect with anybody, for sure. So yeah, that's me.
All right. All right, I think we can all agree that was a very informative discussion. I want to thank Ingrid for taking her time out to come talk to us, answer all of our questions. It was really good. Well, I thought it was really good. I'm sure the rest of you would agree. So thank you again, Ingrid. I hope to have you
No, man.
again.
Happy to be here. Thank you for just please guys keep asking better questions and interrogating the AI tools and just leveraging technology, and finding data sets that are worthy of interrogating, and seek to do some interesting things. Jamaica, and the Caribbean and the world will thank you for it in terms of, but also in terms of, right? So yeah. So thank you for having me.
All right. All right. Thanks everyone for coming.
All
Thanks.
right.
Bye.
Yeah, man.